I am a software developer with the KBase at Argonne National Lab. So I'm looking things mostly from programmatic angle. So far we have learned that RCSB PDB has not only a vast amount of data, so rich, 1 million CSM structures and 200 experimental structures. And not only that, but also behind it, I dug into many of the data, the annotation data included. And now we learned not only those data, but also so many tools, what Dennis and Brenda and Qizhi just presented. On the other hand, my colleagues, my boss, Chris, and my colleague, Zhang, also presented from the scientific front that KBase also has its own strength, especially the genomic data. Not only we have reference genome, reference data, I know that because I loaded many of those data into KBase, but also we have users specifically isolates and the individual user, they can upload their data into our KBase system. So now we all know the potential now. I'm so lucky my presentation is at this spot. Everybody, thank you, the previous speakers, you have paved the road for me. So my job is going to be very simple. I'm going to just introduce to you 4 KBase apps that will kind of bridge our KBase's function and the data and take advantage of the vast amount of rich data from RCSB database. So here are the 4 apps that we have developed for this specific course and also for this purpose. The first one is we want to import. And we already, how should I say, we have a data type in KBase set up. We name it called the protein structures. So it's a data type or data object, as Chris said. We have KBase save data into objects instead of files. But this app, I will take a CSV file as a metadata file to define what the data the user wants to link his or her KBase data with the RCSB structures. So that's the first app. Second one, as Dennis mentioned, when you do the just simply the Google-like search in RCSB, you get the results. If you click on a JSON button, you get to a web interface of the JSON query builder, and you get the result, you run it against the RCSB database. And he also mentioned that this app is actually built on that interface, except it's programmatically from inside the KBase. This third app is PDB import metadata into a whole KBase genome. This one I'm going to just put into here because it's in a bunch of our apps, but Chris will dive much more deeply into it. The last one is after I could first search the RCSB, find the hits of matching to my interested enzyme or protein, and then I wanted to make the connection and save those data and the structure into KBase. So this is the last. I have my demo in this KBase narrative, so you can click on it and get into there. But before we get into there, I want to roughly go over the purpose of each app and the input and output look like. So the first step is basically just if the user has his or her own structure files already, like I did something for the GSP, I ran the AlphaFold tool to get the structures PDB files. I should have asked for CIF files at one time. And then I also have a colleague who researched the amyloidosis genome and loaded them into KBase and have the genes and the functions started the info. So I know I could use this as an example to relate the AlphaFold structure with the KBase genome data. So this is one of the example input file I put in here at the bottom. I align it with the highlight. It's actually a CSV, comma separated value file. That's a text file. The first column is the narrative ID. So first, this is a KBase term. You have to have a KBase account, and then you can create all kinds of narratives. You can see the narratives other users shared with you or public, like today's narratives. So go back to the previous slide. See, this one is my today's demo narrative. The last number is the narrative ID. That is inside the KBase, we use an ID to identify. We could use name. We have actually narrative name too. But in this app, I require the narrative ID where your genome objects is existing. And also you can specify inside of that genome which genes you want to look at to associate with which of your structure file. The last column will be specify, is it a model? And then you put into this input, and then the interface inside of a KBase narrative is very simple. You just upload this file, which you already uploaded into the narratives by import. Remember, Chris was showing you can upload your data into KBase staging area, not only this input file, but also all these structure files you needed to load into the staging area in order to run this app. So that's the purpose, is eventually if you find a certain similarity identity threshold, if that's met, then you want to upload this into, I said earlier, protein structures data object. So the second one is to programmatically install the interface Dennis was showing, the query. But we also in the Google Doc, people are asking what kind of others you can search based on the advanced search features Brenda was showing, actually so rich. You can search pretty much by anything because it's a Google-like search query on the top. But I have currently installed is you can search by sequence, by protein sequence, by UniProt ID, EC number, and you can use your chemical inch code, SMILES code, and maybe some more, but notice here you can add multiple search them. Each one could be fixed with a logic and or, but it's built in. This is something I'm still learning. So here I put one as a logic and operator for you to check is because I know that each category you can do and or all, but inside individual ones for UniProt IDs, for example, if you have two UniProt IDs, you will be just the AND logical way. But for EC numbers, it's just the OR. Okay, I jump to the next one now. And at the bottom, you can specify your e-value cutoff threshold and also the similarity, sequence similarity cutoff. And then you can run a search and get the result. Similar to Brenda was presenting, but this is all inside of KBase narrative. The third one, as I mentioned, and Chris will dive into in more details. The fourth one is to link the two features, two apps behind the scene. Now I can find this PDB hits of what my interest, the search criteria is gave to me. And I also have my own genome data inside the KBase in the narrative. I know it's a narrative ID and genome names and the feature IDs, so I can use this app to upload them into the protein structures, which will hold annotation metadata from the structure itself provided by RCSB, and also from our own KBase's genomes data together. So this is, you can, one individual input, you can have multiple. So this one will be the second one. So you found your hit, this one first, the second, and so on and so forth. And then you can upload them. But you have to also specify a threshold for the upload. So now we're going to the demo mode. So here is the, yeah. As you can see on the top, I have my narrative. Oh, if I do this, I cannot show, but you can see that the URL carries my narrative ID for this demo narrative. And I have to, before the presentation, upload the data into, let me see, into my staging area. Let me exit out first. But if you wanted to, because this, I cannot exit out. If you wanted to follow along, because this narrative is public, you may want to preload those data into. So I put that link at the top of the, so where can I go back? This is what Qizhi was smart to just not use a full screen. How did I get back this out? All right, let me go to full. Stop. Oh, can I stop share and reshare? Because my full screen don't allow me to click.
Of course,
yeah.
You should. Do whatever you need.
Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah. Let's see. All of a sudden I lost that. here. Sorry. Now I'm coming back. I linked out to that and then lost that work. Okay. So I'm not clicking on that now. I'm just go ahead to do the demo. As I showed earlier, the first one, it's very simple as long as you have the metadata file already uploaded into the staging area. And then this is the input UI. You go here. It's still loading. So if you go here, it will go into your staging area, grab the input. Now it's coming up. So these are the files, including your PDB files and CIF. I have one CIF files uploaded into your staging area, which is inside the narrative. Click. You have an import area. And then if you have on your, it's weird, I'm in my Argonne office on the internet. So you just drag and drop from your local computer, your PDB files and your metadata file here. It will be uploaded. This is you call it your staging area. So and then in your app, you can select that one. And I already pre-run this app, so it will generate the result like this. In the file, in my presentation, I was putting 5 different PDB files and with 1 genome and 5 different genes. And one of them didn't match my criteria, so it just said that one of those actually was a Rosetta fold. I have a Beck's genome CIF. I just put here, I knew didn't have anything to do with these genes, just to show if it's under the threshold, it won't be loaded. And then here, from here, you can see in this output, I can link out to see the landing page of KBase of my specific genome. Hope this won't drop me out. Okay, so, okay, and then this one will show the most star. If you mouse over it, we'll see the structure of the most star. And I can also open a bigger window. By the time I think my landing page. Oh, how come my landing page go to this data view of my first data? All right. I'll try that one. So and then we can see the most star here with a bigger window. And this will show the tabs. You can go through individually, and each one of them can have a. And then you can also have all of them showing in one most star presentation, and all the features down here. You can do your measurement, you see your components. If there is a ligand, you can see your polymer, you turn it off and on. But this is all my 4 structures in one place. If you click on this tree here, and then you can turn show, maybe you can see, I don't want to see the first three, I just want to see the last one. Then you get to see one of them, right? Yeah. And then you can see two of them. Maybe this is the time we just learned from Qizhi that you can do some superimpose of the structures. In this case, they are all very similar, so you can color them in the regions as well. But this is to get our uploaded the KBase data together with the structures annotation data into. I don't know why. Okay, the data view didn't show somehow database KBase. All right, so that's the first app. Second one is for querying that I already showed. You can put a different filters put in there, and then this is the result. I have a different result report table here. So we get, in this case, I get how many 8 hits because of the criteria. I set it here is 0.35 for the identity cutoff. And then the results would be 6, 7, 8. Depending on that, sometimes you can get more, but you can narrow it down. And then here shows the score of the return from RCSB. I just learned that today you guys use the MMSeq method. And in my previous, the first app, we use BLAST to do the match. And here we have the columns showing the strand of each, what are the chains that match the cutoff threshold, and the other links, including the publications found. These are all from the data from RCSB. But we also do the matching of the components and match the CPD, the compound ID, and then that will link out to our model seed biochemistry information. And the others, UniProt and UniProt EC numbers all can link out. Of course, what Qizhi was talking about, the 3D view of these, because these are all found inside the RCSB, so I just thought automatically link it out. It's something to do with the, okay. It's my computer today is so slow. Okay, that's the second app demo. And then the third one is, so after we already found so many interested hits in RCSB, and I wanted to upload them into KBase. Here's the example of the upload, I call it import RCSB structure. Let's show the result. This one is just to show the interface UI. All right, this will be similar to the previous one, but also different. This time, these are all RCSB entries, and these are KBase's genome genes as before, and we matched the chains and with the sequence identity calculated using BLAST. And we found it because I know I ran many times, so I set the cutoff at 68, so we get all these hits. If you set lower, then this number will be a little higher. And likewise, this will link out to the RCSB 3D view, and this will link out to the KBase landing page. And then we can explore the KBase's genomes data structure and properties. I don't know why it always get me to that. Welcome to KBase. Let me see, try one more time. Goes to the home. Oh, because I didn't sign in. That's okay. Now I can see if I sign in, I should be able to see my own data. And with that, yeah, I'll get this. One is my ID. So anyway, this is 2, 1, right? Data view. It's just so that, oh, it's already showing. So you didn't sign in, and KBase will welcome you. After already sign in, it's not. Anyway, so these are the apps I built to integrate the data with the RCSB from KBase.